Hey, good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, or good evening, whichever part of the world you're in. My name is Dennis Anthonis. I'm associated myself with Guitar Lessons Free for beginners, and we're going to try to put together a beginning course in fingerpicking. Now, before we proceed, I want to let you know that I'll be leaving some cards, they're called, at the top of the screen along the way, dealing with subject matter that you might find interesting as it relates to our tutorials on how to learn this fingerpicking pattern. By uploading these tutorials, these tutorial reviews and homework assignments on my YouTube channel will afford you the opportunity to actually communicate with me right away in the comments section. When you see something that you might have a question of, go down to the comments section and ask me a question. I'm very good about responding fairly quickly. So there's also that option. So this is a course strictly for beginners, really designed for people that perhaps are strumming their songs and know some chords and know how to keep rhythm. We're going to show you the foundation, one measure, one bar. And from that, everything is going to be built upon that. So one bar, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we're going to learn how to decide which bass note to use. That is dictated by the chord you're playing, and that will dictate whether it's going to be a 4 or 5 or 6 string pattern. Stick around. We're going to tackle this, you're going to get it, and you're going to be finger picking, or at least this Travis style finger picking pattern within a week or two. Now, before we proceed any further, I want to show you this diagram. This will be a very important diagram for us throughout the course. On the left-hand side, you see the left hand, the fretting hand for right-handed players like myself. And I'm showing you the lettering and the numbers of the fingers that are placed on those chord formations. And now the right hand, the finger picking hand, those are the letters assigned to the fingers that we're going to employ in this finger picking pattern. The thumb, the index finger, and the middle finger, those are the two that we use primarily. Now later on, when we add melody notes and hammer-ons, we may include the ring finger and the pinky finger. This finger picking pattern that I teach is used by many musicians. It's a basic finger picking pattern. Eddie Vedder uses it in a couple of his songs, Just Breathe and Tuolumne, or Tulum, however you pronounce it. Paul Simon used it a lot in the beginning. John Prine uses it a lot. I posted several videos to YouTube of John Prine's music, which I just became familiar with just in the last 3 or 4 years. I can't believe that John Prine escaped me. But anyway, he Travis picks a lot and uses this pattern as well. After each class, I'm going to prepare a little tutorial review of the class and give a little homework assignment, if you can call it homework. So, and those will be available after each class. I'm already preparing this tutorial, which you're viewing now, over the weekend, but it will be available for you to access immediately after the class on Tuesday. And I'll leave a link for you to get to that. So these classes are meeting on Tuesdays, every other Tuesday, and the first one being October 10th, and we'll be meeting at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so the first classes will be August 10th, August 24th, September 7th, September 21st, October 5th, October 19th, and so on ad infinitum. Travis picking is a method of picking the guitar. It's always in 4/4 time, and that's because it's based on an alternating bass pattern plucked by the thumb on the downbeats. 1, 2, 3, 4. While the fingers are plucking upward toward the thumb in between the bass notes on the ands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and when you're practicing this, you should count this out in your head at least, and perhaps even out loud for a while until you get the timing down. The success of this is based on starting slow, being accurate, and progressing to a next speed when you feel comfortable with playing it very accurately at a slower speed. We'll talk about all that. Now, eventually, once we learn the pattern, we'll learn how to do hammer-ons and pull-offs and change chords and add melody notes along the way. So stick around. Those all come pretty soon thereafter we learn the pattern. Now there's two ways to learn this. What I call the additive method, where we first learn to lay down the bass notes, and then we add the fingers one at a time. Here's the index finger being added to those bass notes. And now the middle finger added to that high E string. That's one way. But I actually prefer this methodology, breaking the pattern down into 3 color-coded regions, where we start off with a pinch by striking the bass note of the chord with the thumb and the high E string with the middle finger on downbeat 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. For this C chord, where the bass note is on the 5th string, this becomes a 5-string pattern. After the initial downbeat 1 in green, the pattern is played on the 4 highest or thinnest strings. Note that the measure ends with that plucking of the G string shown in purple. That's for every chord shape. Now, for a 4-string chord like the D7th shown here, the entire pattern is played on the 4 thinnest strings, the 4 high strings. And that's because the bass note for this D7th chord is the 4th string, the D, open D string. Now the 6th string chord, like the open G chord, you must pluck that 6th string, where the G note is fretted on the 3rd fret. You must include that bass note on the first downbeat of every chord. Now, what we're going to do is the first homework assignment. You're going to grab your guitar, tune it, make sure it's tuned to standard tuning, no capos, and you're going to sit across from me, and I'm going to have my guitar, and we're going to do this finger picking pattern. Now, the first homework assignment will be this pattern with a held C chord at 80 beats per minute, relatively slow, so you can just start trying the pattern. I'll make this thing about 4 minutes long, and when you run out, you can go back to that time and do it again. The success you're going to have is going to be based on you doing this at least 15 minutes a day. Usually when you grab your guitar and sit down and say, okay, I'm going to do this for 15 minutes, sometimes that winds up being a half an hour, which is even better. But my point being, 15 minutes a day is better than 2 hours on the weekend, because you're going to be reinforcing that muscle memory by doing it daily. That's the whole key to the success of this thing, is muscle memory. With every chord formation, you pluck the bass note of that chord and the high E string at the same time, simultaneously. I call that a pinch on downbeat 1. The remainder of the pattern is played on the 4 high strings. The stuff shown in red, the internal rolling of those 4 high strings, and then the conclusion of the bar with that G string plucked with the thumb, shown in purple. All right, now in conclusion, ultimately, we're going to learn how to use this pattern with the pinch, and without the pinch, with just the bass note. It's going to be important to learn how to do that both ways. For particular songs, one will sound better than the other. So with the pinch, and without. With and without. We'll also learn how to keep this thing going. Then we're going to learn how to do it, change chords. So, it's going to be important to get that pattern down pat, and we're going to learn some chords and put it all together and learn a song. I think the chords I want you to learn, if you haven't already learned them, in preparation for learning how to play a song. Let's see if we can learn 3 chords. An E minor, that is a 6-string chord, all 6 strings. An A minor, that's a 5-string chord. And a B 7th, that's a 5-string chord because the B note here on the A string is the bass note. So let's learn those chords. E minor, A minor, and B 7th. So practice those chords, maybe practice changing them, and maintaining a rhythm. All right, 3 chords, E minor, A minor, and B 7th. It's a beautiful chord. So let's practice those for our next class on Tuesday, August 21st. Whoa, I meant August 24th. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, I think we'll call it a day. I think I've given you plenty to mull over. I promise that the future tutorial reviews and homework assignments will be much shorter. But these are things that you'll reference back to occasionally as we proceed in this course. I feel that by utilizing my YouTube channel and uploading this to my YouTube channel. This is what affords me the opportunity to include all of my diagrams, chord charts, finger picking patterns, and everything like that. And this, I feel, will be the best learning experience for this class. So until next time, hang tight and see you in a couple hours. It's now Tuesday, August 10th.